What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to today's transfer roundup video here on Anfield Agenda. What I'm going to try and do over the next 8 to 10 minutes is give you guys a list of possible alternatives for Jurgen Klopp to bring in to replace the outgoing Fabinho and potentially Jordan Henderson as well. Now, we know what the transfer fee for Fabinho is going to be. It's about £40 million, which in my opinion, very fair valuation. We could have done with keeping him for an extra season or two, but if Klopp always says if the player wants to go and the money's right for Liverpool, he won't stand in their way. And once again, he's a man of his word. The Henderson situation, well, that's a little bit different, right? Because that's the club captain. That's somebody that Jurgen thought he could rely upon. Having lost James Milner, having lost Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Bobby Firmino, Naby Keita. I mean, we've lost a lot of experience in there. Nobody, and I mean nobody, knows the recovery room better than Naby Keita. And to show you that I'm not messing, he's already getting accustomed to the one over in Germany because, shock horror, he's already injured. He's had a abductor injury which will keep him out for several weeks. How nice is that not to be our problem for once? Anyway, to get back to the list, I'm going to go through, give you a list of maybe 6 or 7 players that I think are possible or ones that you guys have suggested to me. Again, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Do drop a like on the video, and if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. We are live every night once again from 8:30 p.m. right here on YouTube. We had our first stream back last night. It was absolutely fantastic. Over 2,500 people in the live chat to welcome us back on here. And again, I want to say a massive thank you to you all. I left that stream feeling absolutely blown away, in all honesty. It was amazing. It was great vibes, and I hope we can continue in that way moving forward. So look, I'm going to get stuck into it now and start off with the name that's probably the most pricey on the list. That is Florentino Luis of Benfica. 23 years of age and has a buyout clause of £103 million. Do I think that Liverpool are going to trigger that buyout clause? No, of course not. Do I think he's worth £103 million? Absolutely not. This, to me, will depend on Benfica being willing to compromise or be willing to give a realistic number. Now, many journalists, including Neil Jones, have said that Liverpool's interest in the Benfica man is real. So if we take that as a given, what are you saying? What do you think is a fair price to try and go in there to get him? I'm moving on to another name on the list now, and I'd love this guy, but I'm afraid to go too in on it because he's also linked to United, and I don't want to be one of those creators that has to look back at a video or I'm bigging up somebody only from to go to a rival. So I'll say this a little bit cautiously. I wouldn't be against us revisiting Sophie and Amrabat, and many reports in the media suggest that is exactly what Jurgen Klopp is looking to do. What I would say is, if we got Amrabat, I'd still like us to go and get Lavia as the second midfield signing. That way, you've got a good mix of somebody who's ready for the here and now and somebody who has a really high ceiling and great potential for the future. Amrabat is believed to be about £25 million if you want to buy him from Fiorentina. At least that's what United were getting quoted. And with Lavia, who I'm going to move on to speak about in a second, I'd say you're probably looking something similar to the fee Liverpool will receive for Fabinho, somewhere around 40 million quid. Southampton probably asked for a little bit more. Will Liverpool pay it or will Arsenal pay it? I don't know, but we've segued into Lavia, so let's get stuck in to his situation. Mikel Arteta is waiting to move Thomas Partey off to Saudi Arabia to free up some more funds. They've already brought in Declan Rice, Jurrien Timber and Kai Havertz. If they can get Lavia, I think we're in trouble. So we need to move quickly, and I believe that is exactly what we will do. Once the Fabinho deal is sorted, my gut feeling is that we see Lavia brought in very quickly. I've been reliably told that the player, if it came down to a decision, would choose Liverpool, but you only make that choice if you can agree a fee with the selling club. So I think you'll see movement on this in the coming days, but even bringing in Lavia, which would be a great bit of business, I still feel would be a little bit short of experience. That's why I mentioned Sophie and Amrabat as a reasonably priced but solid alternative there to fill out the midfield and put in that bit of experience. Another name that you guys have mentioned to me, and this isn't what I'm suggesting, by the way, I want to make that very, very clear, but a name that keeps coming up in our chats is Tyler Adams of Leeds United. I don't want the kid. I don't think he's good enough, but maybe I'm absolutely wrong. And I've been wrong before. I think it happened once in 1987, if I'm not mistaken. I think I was wrong about an episode of the Smurfs or something like that. We won't dwell on that anyway. But Tyler Adams, what are you saying? Is he good enough? Is he not good enough? I mean, I know that some of our American viewers are very defensive when anybody criticises him, and I love that about you, but I still don't think he's good enough, in all honesty. Not for a club like Liverpool, not yet. over to you and let me know if you agree. While we're speaking about a Leeds United player, actually, I should probably mention that it looks like Nat Phillips is moving close to going to Ellen Road for about £8.5 million. Some reports have been suggesting that the agreement is already in place between Nat Phillips and the Leeds United board. I don't know about that one, but if Nat does go there, I want to say a massive thank you from all of us here at Anfield Agenda, and I'm sure for all of you guys as well, for his amazing work at Liverpool Football Club. He's not the highest caliber of centre-back that we're ever going to see in a Liverpool shirt, but he cared as much as anybody ever has. And to go over to the San Siro and do what he did over there in that big game, nothing but respect for Nat, and he deserves to go and play football. I think Leeds United fans will absolutely love him, and I think it's Ampadu, the other player from Chelsea, who they're bringing in there alongside him, so could be a good partnership there for Leeds. But again, Tyler Adams, let me know what you think. Barella is the dream, right? And he's still at Inter Milan at this moment in time, and I've not seen anybody else really in for him. But I also don't know if he'd be willing to leave Inter Milan right now. I'd have him in a heartbeat. Bringing in him and Lavia would just complete the transfer window, and I wouldn't say we could improve on that. If you added McAllister and Szoboszlai to those two, wow, but we're in dreamland, because it isn't really going to happen. So the last name that I have for you guys then is the one that we all want, Arlian Tchouameni. If you take what Madrid have been saying, he's absolutely not for sale. Nor is Valverde, nor is Camavinga. And you know what? Who can blame them? Because they've got themselves a very fine set of young midfielders there to replace the outgoing in the future, Luka Modric and Toni Kroos. Chance to be a fine thing, wouldn't it? Oh, and a young flip by the name of Jude Bellingham. I've not really mentioned him much on the channel, but he also went to Real Madrid in this window. So that's the list that I've got, my friends. If there's anybody you think I've forgotten or anybody you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comment section. Who would you take? For me, Lavia and Amrabat, I'll be fine with. Oh, there's one name I haven't spoken about yet. Decore from Crystal Palace. I nearly forgot about him. He'd been linked very strongly today. Problem there is, I think he's only at Palace about a year, and I think they paid about 21 million when they signed him from France. I don't know how much they'd be expecting, and usually, if you're looking at Premier League club to Premier League club transfers, well, they're quite hefty, right? You usually end up paying a bit of a premium. I did see today, interestingly, that West Ham have had a £45 million offer turned down for João Palhinha from Fulham, who they obviously want to bring in as a replacement for Declan Rice. I wouldn't say no to him either. In fact, if you brought him and Lavia in, well, that would be a pretty tasty transfer window. In fact, I'm going to revisit what I said earlier and say I'd actually prefer him and Lavia than Amrabat and Lavia, but yeah, there you go. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And again, I want to thank you all for your continued support. Looking forward to reading your comments. Don't forget, tonight and every night at 8:30, we will be live as well. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Let me know your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button. And I will catch up with you guys really soon when hopefully we've a little bit more news, but we don't have long to wait to see the Reds in action. Wednesday at 5:30, they kick off in their first preseason friendly, and you can be here with us from an hour beforehand where we get stuck into the latest team news, what you can expect, and of course full match reactions and that as well. Over to you, my friends. I will chat to you real soon. Much love. Bye bye.